And I felt, you're losing people every single time you have those headlines. We all get that there's a really big urgent message.
A lot of people see Prince William as calm and steady, always in control. But not many get a look at the tension building behind palace walls.
She becomes my queen consort. I know she will bring to the demands of her new role.
Behind all the public events and polished appearances, there's a quieter, more complicated story playing out. It's not as picture-perfect as it seems, and things are starting to shift in a serious way.
It is the most vulnerable, those with the fewest resources, and those who've done the least to cause climate change.
Recent reports about Camilla's ex-husband have apparently pushed William to cut off financial support to her side of the family. That move shocked a lot of people and got everyone questioning loyalty, trust, and what's really going on behind closed doors. What caused such a hard decision, and what does it mean for the future of the royal household?
Freely, please let us not become too politically correct.
William's bold move against Queen Camilla is raising eyebrows everywhere. Known for staying calm and measured, the future king is now stepping into serious drama. He's walked straight into the storm with a level of confidence nobody expected from him. The claim he's made about Camilla, who is usually seen as quiet and behind the scenes, is turning heads in a big way. He alleges she was tied to a major financial issue, saying royal funds may have been misused for personal benefit. That kind of claim hits hard and shakes the image of the monarchy. The royal family, built on centuries of tradition and carefully protected reputation, is now facing serious questions. According to William, money meant for public duties, charity work, and preserving national heritage was redirected. Instead of serving the people, he claims those funds were used for personal gain, and that's got everyone talking. The weight of this claim is massive. This isn't just about money. It cuts straight into the integrity, honor, and trust of the entire royal household. It's the kind of accusation that shakes everything people thought they knew about the monarchy. And the timing makes it even louder. In a world where transparency is demanded and every royal move gets picked apart online, this situation hits right at the core of public trust. Social media doesn't let anything slide, and now this story is spreading fast. The reaction came instantly, and it was intense. Across the United Kingdom and beyond, people responded with shock, disbelief, and straight-up outrage. Some who always questioned Camilla's place during King Charles III's reign are now saying they saw this coming. Others are worried that the monarchy itself is being weakened from the inside. News outlets jumped on it immediately, pushing the story everywhere. Headlines started calling it the Buckingham earthquake. And honestly, that says it all. The impact is being felt both inside the palace and out in public opinion. The media isn't just focusing on the claims, they're digging into what this could mean for the future of the monarchy itself. Experts and lawmakers are now stepping in, raising serious questions. If these claims were ever proven true, could the monarchy still hold the same level of trust with the British public? That question alone is causing major tension. Inside the palace, things are even more intense. William has always been seen as the steady one, the guy who stays above the drama and avoids internal conflict. But this moment changes everything. By speaking out, he didn't just break his silence, he went straight at Camilla. This is a direct confrontation, and it could have serious consequences for both of them. Not just her reputation, but also William's future as king is now under the spotlight. For years, he built an image of responsibility and strong values, but now he's right in the middle of one of the most controversial royal moments ever. In recent royal history, the public reaction has been intense and completely divided. Some see William's actions as pure courage, a necessary move to protect the monarchy's reputation. Others see it as a major escalation, turning a private family issue into a global spectacle. The palace, once known for keeping everything quiet and controlled, is now exposed to constant public judgment. Every statement, every rumor, every leak is being picked apart in real time, and there's no hiding from it anymore. But what really pushed William to confront the very woman his father always defended? Was this a calculated move to protect the monarchy's image, or did years of built-up frustration, hurt, and disappointment finally explode? To understand this, you have to look at the long-standing tension between William and Camilla. Way before this financial scandal ever came into the spotlight, their relationship was already strained and filled with quiet friction. From the outside, everything looked calm and respectful. They stood together for photos, shared polite smiles, appeared on the palace balcony, and attended charity events side by side like everything was fine. But that was just the surface. Behind that polished image, things were far colder than they appeared. The wounds left by Princess Diana's tragic death never fully disappeared, no matter how composed things looked in public. Anyone paying close attention could sense that distance, a gap that never truly closed. From the moment Camilla officially became Charles's wife, William was forced to adjust to a reality he never chose. Her presence wasn't just about a new family role, it was a constant reminder of the pain his mother went through. Camilla, fully aware of how delicate the situation was, tried to ease the tension in small ways. There were private dinners meant to build some level of understanding, polite exchanges in public, and shared appearances at charity events that mattered to William. But even with those efforts, the tension never fully disappeared. In William's eyes, those gestures never felt real. They came off as calculated, weighed down by a past that couldn't just be erased. Every smile, every polite moment looked more like a cover hiding deeper tension. William, deeply loyal to tradition and fiercely protective of Diana's legacy, never openly went after Camilla, but the distance between them was impossible to ignore. People started noticing the little things. He would sit far from her at official events, avoid any kind of warm interaction, and keep things strictly formal. No moments for cameras to twist, no signs of closeness. His attention stayed locked on Catherine and their children, making it clear where his loyalty truly stood. That alone sent a strong message about where he sees the future of the monarchy going. For Camilla, the situation was tough to ignore. William's approval, or lack of it, became the biggest barrier to her public acceptance. Without his backing, that cold tension between them never went away. It just sat there, ready to crack open at any moment. Their relationship was never built on trust or real connection. It was more like a fragile truce, something held together out of necessity, not respect or friendship. Both sides kept up appearances because they had to. The monarchy couldn't handle another public breakdown, so they played their roles and kept things looking stable. But hidden tension doesn't stay buried forever. Eventually, everything that had been building quietly started to rise up, and when the financial scandal hit, it became the spark that exposed everything. What used to be quiet distance turned into a solid wall. No more pretending, no more careful space, just a full shift in energy. Before, William kept things controlled and distant. Now, he moved with clear intent and took decisive action, showing that this situation had reached a whole new level. He walked into an emergency palace meeting, holding a thick file packed with documents. Then he made a statement that stunned everyone, calling it irrefutable proof that Camilla had misused royal funds. The room went completely still. Senior advisors and family members just stared, struggling to process how the calm, controlled William was. Now delivering such a serious and direct accusation. When he spoke, his voice cut straight through the silence. It was steady, controlled, but carried a cold intensity that nobody expected. He laid everything out, pointing to figures, unexplained expenses, and a trail of transactions that raised serious questions. According to what was presented, the documents pointed to hidden overseas accounts, funds kept away from official records, and major property deals tied to complex company structures. That kind of detail hit hard and left the room shaken. Rumors about extravagant spending had been floating around for years, whispered in private and hinted at in media talk. But now, those whispers suddenly felt real. like they had substance behind them. William suggested that Camilla's lifestyle and growing influence weren't just part of royal privilege. He implied it was all connected to a deeper, more complicated financial setup that had stayed out of sight. The reaction inside the room was intense. Some people shook their heads, refusing to believe what they were hearing. Others exchanged uneasy looks, clearly wondering how far this situation could go. For a long time, talk about questionable finances stayed on the edges, never fully confirmed. But now William himself had stepped forward and brought it into the open. This wasn't just an accusation, it felt like a warning. If issues like this were ignored, the monarchy's credibility could take serious damage. And at a time when the royal family was still recovering from past controversies, this moment hit like a spark in a dry room, threatening to spread fast and change everything. But the big question is, how did William even get his hands on such explosive evidence? Was he working with trusted financial experts behind the scenes, or were there insiders quietly feeding him information? Let's break it down and look deeper into the hidden power and money surrounding Camilla long before this scandal exploded. Into the spotlight, whispers were already moving through palace circles. People were talking, especially when it came to Camilla's role and influence as queen consort. Something didn't feel right, and those quiet suspicions never fully disappeared. Many believe William didn't act alone. There's speculation he brought in independent watchdog groups and financial experts to dig into everything carefully. Every number checked, every detail examined, building a case that couldn't be easily dismissed. Page after page, detail after detail, the findings reportedly stacked up fast. And what he uncovered wasn't just evidence. It was a direct challenge to the image that had been carefully built over the years. The financial side was only part of it. Behind the polished smile and composed public image, there were long-standing whispers about how things were run behind closed doors. Staff members had reportedly spoken in quiet tones about a strict and sometimes harsh working environment, very different from the warm and calm image shown to the public. Rules were enforced tightly, and even small mistakes could lead to serious consequences. One account claimed a staff member lost part of their pay just for placing a glass slightly off-center during a formal event. Another reportedly faced punishment after spilling a small amount while serving. These moments might sound minor, but inside that environment, they carried weight. They created pressure and tension that made everyday work feel stressful and unpredictable. One story that stood out involved a longtime staff member named Marion. After nearly 20 years of service, she was reportedly fined heavily over a small mistake with a tablecloth. The penalty was so severe it nearly wiped out a full month of her earnings, leaving a lasting impression on everyone who heard about it. Oliver, a young and eager newcomer, made a small mistake when a drop of wine hit the floor. That one moment reportedly cost him so much that he couldn't even cover his rent, forcing him to borrow money just to get by. These weren't just simple errors. They showed the full weight of the strict environment. The pressure was constant, making even careful workers feel on edge every single day. The palace, once seen as a place of pride and loyalty, had quietly shifted into something far more tense. Staff walked in each day carrying stress, knowing that even the smallest move could be judged harshly. Smiles felt forced, conversations stayed low and private, and the atmosphere was filled with unease. It wasn't the image the public saw, but inside, things felt very different. When William started uncovering financial details, these stories about staff treatment added even more impact. Public opinion, already uncertain, began to question not just financial decisions, but character as well. But the most shocking part came when the investigation went deeper. According to the claims, money collected from staff fines didn't go where it was expected to. Instead, around $48,000 was reportedly redirected into a private account connected to Camilla. What made it even more serious was how detailed the setup appeared. Small amounts were hidden within normal accounts, but together they formed a much larger pattern. It looked organized and carefully structured to avoid attention. William reportedly traced part of the trail to a company based in Thailand. On paper, it appeared to be a small business dealing with handmade goods, but there were claims it had no real activity at all. The suggestion was that its main role was to receive funds and keep them out of sight from regulators. From there, the money was said to move again, eventually showing up as an investment linked to a high-end coastal property in Cornwall. The property itself wasn't directly tied to Camilla's name, but held through a trust connected to close associates. The timing raised even more questions, as the movement of funds reportedly matched payments made for renovations on that mansion, adding another layer to the growing controversy. Leaked emails from Camilla's office pushed the situation to a whole new level. These messages reportedly showed clear instructions directing that staff fines be sent straight to the shell company while stressing that everything had to stay strictly confidential. One email even carried the digital sign-off of a senior aide, confirming the transfers were completed exactly as ordered. That detail alone made the situation feel much more serious. For William, this was the turning point. What he saw wasn't just suspicious activity, it looked like solid proof. Money earned by palace staff was allegedly being redirected into a private system. What once seemed like strict workplace behavior now appeared far more calculated. Instead of isolated incidents, it looked like part of a larger pattern involving control and financial gain. Royal commentators quickly weighed in, saying, "This could be the missing piece that tied everything together. Staff complaints on their own might have been brushed off, but when combined with financial records, property links, and these emails, the story became much harder to ignore." Now the focus shifted completely. It wasn't just about whether something happened, but how long it may have been going on, and whether there were more undiscovered details still hidden. The monarchy suddenly found itself facing a serious credibility issue. This wasn't only about money anymore, it was about trust, image, and public confidence. Public opinion, once divided, started to move more strongly in one direction. William's claims brought attention to the deeper issues of power, control, and possible hidden financial activity within the royal circle. This raised even bigger questions. Had Camilla's role shifted from respected figure to someone seen through a much more critical lens? And could this situation be just the beginning, with more still waiting to come out? At that point, William reached a decision. Once the evidence felt impossible to ignore, he knew staying silent was no longer an option. For nights, William could barely sleep. His mind kept racing, replaying everything he had uncovered and weighing what he should do next. The pressure kept building until he finally made a choice. He would confront Camilla Parker Bowles face to face. The private meeting room inside Buckingham Palace felt heavy the moment he walked in. The air was tense, almost like the walls themselves were bracing for what was about to happen. At the center of the room, William placed a thick stack of documents on the long wooden table. Then suddenly, he slammed them down in front of her, papers scattered across the polished surface, breaking the silence in an instant. When he spoke, his voice was calm but sharp, cutting through the room with precision. Underneath that control, there was clear anger that had been building for a long time. "This is undeniable proof," he said firmly. "You took advantage of the staff. You used their fear to make money and benefit yourself." For a split second, Camilla looked caught off guard. Her eyes flicked over the papers, showing a hint of surprise. But it didn't last long. That reaction quickly faded, replaced by her usual composed and confident attitude. She tilted her head slightly and gave a cold, mocking smile. "You truly are Diana, Princess of Wales's son," she said with a sharp tone. "Always dramatic, always turning everything into a scene so you can look like the hero. Do you really think you are better than everyone else? Or are you just continuing the emotional show your mother once performed for the public?" Her words landed hard, filling the room with a thick, uncomfortable silence. But if she thought bringing up Diana would shake him, she misread the moment completely. Instead, it pushed him further. His eyes locked in with stronger focus, his expression tightening with determination. He stepped closer to the table, lowering his voice, calm but powerful. "Yes," he replied, "I am Diana's son, and because of that, I will never stand by while people are mistreated and humiliated," William said, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "My mother faced betrayal and silence in this palace, and I will not let history repeat itself." Camilla didn't respond right away. She tried to hold on to her confident expression, but there was a small shake in her hand resting on the table that gave everything away. The stack of documents in front of her felt louder than any argument. Inside were detailed records, bank statements, official emails, and even contracts tied to a hidden estate in Cornwall. Every single page made things harder to deny, each one tightening the pressure and leaving fewer ways to explain it all away. What made the moment even more intense was the clear contrast between them. On one side stood Camilla, a figure who had spent years shaping public perception and securing her place beside King Charles III. For so long she appeared untouchable, protected by influence and silence. But now, that image was cracking. She no longer looked in control, she looked cornered. On the other side stood William, never known for direct confrontation, yet in this moment he stood firm and unshaken. His strength seemed fueled by the memory of his mother and a deep sense of responsibility. He wasn't just acting as a prince or a son anymore. He came across as a symbol of fairness and accountability, someone pushing for honesty where silence once ruled. Later on, royal commentators would point to this moment as a major turning point. For years, Camilla had been shielded by Charles's influence and the quiet protection of the institution. But the second those documents hit the table, that silence shattered. There was no more room for denial, no more hiding behind closed doors. For many watching from the outside, William's actions brought back memories of Diana, not in sadness, but in courage. The courage to speak out, to challenge what others preferred to keep hidden, and to demand that the truth be seen. In that moment, William wasn't just defending himself. He was standing up for the palace staff who were allegedly mistreated, and for the values his mother stood for. What started as an insult was flipped into something powerful, a promise to carry forward her principles no matter the cost. So when Camilla tried to mock him for being Diana's son, it didn't weaken him at all. It only made him stronger and more determined to stand his ground. Now, the question became impossible to ignore. Could Charles still protect Camilla after everything had come to light? And what exactly was the evidence that pushed things this far? Let's break it down. The tension inside the royal family had reached a breaking point. No more hiding behind polite smiles or carefully staged appearances. After that intense confrontation between William and Camilla, it was clear something had to give. The room had been left shaken. The exchange was emotional, powerful, and impossible to brush aside. Once William made his stand for accountability, the pressure shifted straight onto King Charles III. Charles looked completely drained. More than usual, his face showed the weight of everything he was dealing with. His eyes carried the stress of a man caught between impossible choices. He wasn't just the king trying to protect the monarchy's image. He was also a husband wanting to defend his wife and a father facing a son who refused to step back. For a moment, he stood still, almost frozen, like he was searching for the right way to respond. The silence stretched, heavy and uncomfortable. Then slowly he raised his hand, signaling for William to sit. His movements were controlled, but his voice told a different story. "William," he said quietly, choosing each word carefully, "this matter cannot become public. If this comes out, it could seriously damage the monarchy," Charles warned, his voice carrying urgency. "It could push everything into a crisis we may not recover from. I need you to trust me. Let me handle this privately within the palace walls. I will take action, but you must stay silent in return." As Charles finished, the room went completely still. The silence felt heavy, almost suffocating. The only sound was the faint ticking of a clock, each second dragging out the tension even more. William didn't break eye contact. He held his father's gaze, calm but firm, like he had already made his decision long before this moment. After a slow breath, he finally spoke. His voice was steady, clear, and cut straight through the silence. "No, my father," he said, "justice is not something that can be hidden or traded for silence. My mother suffered because too many people chose to stay quiet when the truth should have been spoken. If I stay silent now, then everything she went through means nothing. I won't let that happen. I will not repeat that mistake." The mention of Diana, Princess of Wales, hung in the air like a powerful echo that couldn't be ignored. Charles slowly closed his eyes. For a brief moment, the weight of everything showed on his face. Deep down, he knew there was truth in William's words, but accepting it wasn't easy. Inside, he was completely torn. On one side was Camilla, the woman he had loved for years and fought hard to bring into the royal family. Protecting her had never been simple, and he had invested everything into that fight. On the other side stood William, his son, the future king, and someone the public trusted deeply. William represented stability, honesty, and the future many people believed in. And now Charles was stuck between them, forced to choose between loyalty, love, and the survival of the monarchy itself. Charles knew the decision in front of him was brutally simple, yet emotionally crushing. If he chose to protect Camilla, he risked losing William's support and possibly the trust of the entire nation. But if he stood with William, he could put his own marriage on the line. The pressure of that choice weighed heavily on him. After a long, heavy silence, Charles slowly opened his eyes and looked straight at his son. When he spoke, his voice was low and firm, like something final had just settled in his mind. "You want justice?" he said quietly. "Then justice is what you will have. I will not protect her anymore." He paused for a moment, letting the words sink in before continuing. "But remember this, William, the decision you're making today will change everything." The weight of those words filled the room. Everyone present could feel it. This wasn't just a statement. It was a turning point. Then came the moment no one would forget. Charles reached for the thick file sitting on the table, the same one packed with documents, records, and everything that had caused this storm. Slowly, he picked it up and placed it right in front of William. Looking directly at him, serious and unwavering, Charles spoke again. "From this moment forward," he declared, "all financial oversight of the royal household will be under your control. I trust you to protect this family's honor better than anyone else." That single move shifted everything. William was no longer just the heir waiting for his time. He now held real authority inside the monarchy. And Charles, by stepping back and accepting the truth, showed that protecting the crown might come at a personal cost. Peace in his own life was no longer guaranteed. Not long after, events began to move fast, setting the stage for what would unfold next inside the grand halls of St. James's Palace became the center of attention as a major press conference was called. The atmosphere inside the hall felt heavy, filled with tension you could almost feel in the air. Journalists from all over the world packed the room, sensing that something serious, maybe even historic, was about to unfold. The moment William stepped in, every eye locked onto him. In his hands, he carried a thick dossier, tightly packed pages that looked like they held secrets powerful enough to shake the monarchy to its core. Standing in front of the cameras and microphones, William began to speak. His tone was calm, controlled, and serious. There was no exaggeration, no drama, just direct and clear words. He announced that there was strong evidence showing royal funds had been used improperly. Then he moved straight into the proof. Holding up official bank documents, he pointed to specific transactions. One detail immediately stood out: a transfer of £48,000 that raised major questions. According to the records, the money had been routed through a shell company based in Thailand. From there, it was reportedly redirected into an anonymous account. Later, linked to the purchase of a hidden estate in Cornwall. The reaction in the room was instant and intense. Camera flashes lit up the space like lightning, and journalists began whispering rapidly, trying to process and share what they were hearing. But William wasn't done yet. He turned toward a large digital screen behind him and opened a secured file. Suddenly, a series of verified emails appeared for everyone to see. Each one was traced back to an official office connected to Queen Camilla, adding even more weight to the claims and pushing the situation to an entirely new level. Among all the messages, one stood out instantly. It gave clear instructions on how certain financial transfers should be handled, and most importantly, it carried Camilla's own electronic signature. The entire hall went silent. In that moment, all the rumors and speculation seemed to disappear. What was left was something direct and hard to ignore, evidence laid out in front of the world. Camilla, sitting in the front row, suddenly looked shaken. As she slowly stood up, her composure slipped for a second. She tried to defend herself, saying her instructions were just routine administrative tasks and had nothing to do with personal gain. But the pressure in the room didn't ease at all. So what did William do next to protect the monarchy? And was this really the right move? Let's break it down. William's bold stand didn't just create headlines, it changed everything for the royal family. Voices erupted across the room as journalists started firing questions from every direction. The pressure closed in fast, leaving Camilla with little space to respond clearly. But what shocked people even more than the accusations was King Charles's reaction. He remained completely still in his seat, his face tight, his expression distant, like he was deep in thought. Not once did he step in to defend his wife. That silence spoke louder than anything else in the room. Many saw it as a quiet signal that William's claims were too serious to dismiss. Within minutes, the story exploded across the globe. Major outlets rushed to push breaking news, from The Times to The Guardian, and from the New York Times to global TV networks. Headlines painted a picture of a royal family facing serious crisis, and outside the palace, the reaction was just as intense. Social media lit up instantly, with thousands of people sharing shock, frustration, and strong opinions. Calls for accountability and major changes to the monarchy started spreading fast, showing just how big this moment had become. What was supposed to be a normal royal appearance flipped into something way bigger. The crowd outside didn't just witness an event, they watched what felt like a full-blown political and family shockwave unfold in real time. Prince William stood firm through all of it. His calm but determined energy had people saying it reminded them of his mother's legacy in a powerful way. He did what almost nobody expected. He brought the truth out from inside the palace itself, right into the public eye. With Camilla under pressure, Charles staying silent, and the entire world watching, the monarchy looked like it had stepped into one of its darkest modern moments. The impact of that day felt like something that wouldn't fade anytime soon. Within hours, clips from the press conference exploded online. Footage of William holding up financial records, screenshots of emails, and details tied to the Cornwall estate spread fast across YouTube and social platforms. One phrase started showing up everywhere: the corrupt crown. In just 24 hours, those videos pulled in over 20 million views. This wasn't just news anymore. It had turned into a symbol, a new generation stepping up and challenging long-standing power. A lot of people saw it as Diana's son finally facing the same forces that once surrounded his family. That connection hit hard and made the moment even more emotional. The corrupt crown became more than just words. It struck directly at the carefully built image of royal honor and tradition. Public reaction came in fast and strong. Thousands praised William, calling him the rightful future king and someone willing to stand up for what's right, even against his own family. Media outlets quickly started drawing comparisons between William and Princess Diana. Many described him as carrying her spirit forward, highlighting his courage, honesty, and connection with everyday people. Images of William alongside Diana spread rapidly online, reinforcing the idea that he was continuing a fight she once faced, standing up to powerful forces within the royal world. Meanwhile, Camilla quickly became the center of global backlash. Major newspapers painted her as someone who used her position for personal gain while keeping things hidden from the public. Opinion pieces described her as cold, calculated, and far from what people once expected. From a royal consort, online things got even more intense. Social media lit up with criticism, sharp comments, and endless memes. Thousands of users blamed her for pushing the monarchy toward one of its most serious crises in modern history. The image of the monarchy itself started to crack. What once felt untouchable now looked vulnerable, surrounded by accusations and growing doubt. Public trust took a serious hit. Long-standing traditions and royal symbols suddenly felt overshadowed by talk of secrecy and hidden dealings. One image kept replaying everywhere: William standing firm, holding that file of documents. His expression showed strength, but there was also clear emotion behind it. For many watching, this wasn't just about money or scandal anymore. It felt personal, like a fight for honor, truth, and justice. Modern media pushed the moment even further. What started as a single press conference turned into a worldwide event that shaped public opinion fast. As the pressure kept building, the royal family was forced into a decision unlike anything seen in recent times. Camilla was removed from the center of royal life and sent away from the palace to a distant residence. Her royal titles were quietly taken back, and her role in official duties came to an end, marking a dramatic shift inside the monarchy. Now it's your turn to speak. What do you think about Prince William cutting off Camilla's family funds after the revelations surrounding her ex-husband? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this breakdown interesting, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this with others. Stay tuned, because there's always more coming, and we'll see you in the next one.